Hey, hi, hello, and welcome back to another video. My name is Gracie, and today we are going to yap about everything that I spent on my latest Walt Disney World trip. So let's get into it. Okay, first things first, hotel. So we stayed at All Star Music, and we were there Thursday through Sunday, May 27th through the 31st, 2026. So we were there Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and checked out Sunday. So 3 nights, 4 days. I am an out-of-state annual pass holder from Georgia. So one of the perks of being an annual pass holder is there is a small annual pass hotel room rate. And in the summer, there are some really great discounts and promotions that Disney runs, especially for hotel and tickets. So I tried to list everything so you could see like the comparison of the different like room rates. So for the May 27th through 31st, the standard hotel room rate for All Star Music was $231 per night. And then the summer discount, which was open to anybody based on like availability, was $191.25 per night, which was a total of $868.28 based on our dates. And then our annual pass hotel room rate, I didn't do the per night rate. I just only have the full total, which was $626.08. Since I was traveling with one of my really good friends, we were able to split that room rate. So divided that by 2. The total so far for me on what I spent at Disney World for my hotel was $313.04 at All Star Music. And like I said, that was 3 nights, 4 days on Disney property at All Star Music. One thing I will note is if you are planning your trip and you're trying to figure out like where to save and maybe what you can cut, I highly recommend staying on Disney property. I think one of the greatest things about going to Disney World is just really being like encapsulated in the Disney bubble, and I feel like it's so hard to get that if you stay off property. Now, I understand like budget is always going to be a thing, and I'm sure the surrounding hotels are a little bit cheaper. But honestly, like just having the transportation to go to any of the parks plus Disney Springs, free transportation from the Disney parks or Disney resorts to all the parks plus Disney Springs, I think that in itself is like well worth it. And it's just so like, to me, and this is like a priority for me, going to the Disney bubble or like going to Disney World is being in the bubble. And to me, that's staying on property. So if that's like a priority for you, I highly suggest staying on property. So just a random little tidbit of a note. You will catch me looking at my laptop a lot because that's where I kind of have all of the notes and things. So moving on to tickets. Like I said, I'm an out-of-state annual pass holder from Georgia. So I do not live in Florida, even though I'm literally right next door. So I don't get any of the like Florida resident discounts, the Florida resident like pass. So for annual pass, unless you're DVC or in Florida, you are only able to buy the Incredipass, which of course is like the most expensive one, but you have no blockout dates, but it's the only one that I'm not DVC and I don't live in Florida, so it's the only one that I can get. So the total for that was, for the year, $1,734.89. So that's how much I paid for the annual pass. Now, at this point in May, I had already used my pass. Let's see, 17 days after May trip. So including the May trip so these three days, I will have used my pass or like gone into a park or like per day 17 days, which very much makes the pass worth it for me. I think I did the math and it was like if you went in 9 or 10 days to a Disney park, then that you like basically like broke even. But I did look up like what a typical park hopper would look like for this trip for our dates, and that total was $635.49 for a 3-day park hopper. And like I was saying, in the summer, Disney does some really awesome promotions and discounts and things, and they were running a really great special. I'll insert because I screenshotted it, but it was like 4-day ticket for, I can't even remember exactly what it said. Let me look, because it was, I know you'll see it on the screen, but just so I can talk about it. It was a 4-park magic ticket, and it was basically $100 per day, which, well, so the full total for it was like $400. But it wasn't park hoppers. It was just like 1 park per day, which honestly though, in the summertime, that's pretty awesome, because I feel like in the winter it's easy to like go all day, park hop all day, like do all the things, be in the park from like park open to park close. But in the summer you like really need to take it slow, take breaks, all that stuff. So I feel like the 4-park magic ticket is a really awesome deal. So okay, back to the ticket price of what I paid. So because I am an annual pass holder, I did not include that in my total on what I spent. Okay, so that's tickets. Lightning lanes, I will put something on the screen so you can see kind of like our park plans and our lightning lane plans. The total lightning lane cost for the 3 days was $141.67. And that was like multi-pass. That was getting some single passes for different things. So, and that was basically having it for every day that we were there in the parks. And again, just another thing that if you don't want to wait in lines, it's a really good thing to like incorporate in your budget. So that's a big additional cost on top of the tickets. So it's just something to think about, and just thinking about like what is your preference. I've done trips before where we've had like lightning lanes every single day. I've done trips where I haven't had any lightning lanes. I've done trips where I have some one day and maybe not the next day. So I think it's beneficial, especially if your priority is rides, but it is an additional cost, and that was $141 per person. So if you have a family of 4, that can really just add up. But just think about like what you're prioritizing and what you're looking for in your trip, and then kind of go from there. And then just know you can kind of, make it work however you need. I think one of my favorite tips is I love like going into Animal Kingdom and getting lightning lanes. One, because most of the lightning lanes are booked in the morning, like literally between like 9 and 11, which gives you the opportunity to rebook for another park, which may be like more expensive. Like Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios multi-pass lightning lanes are kind of expensive. So if you can start in like Animal Kingdom and then just rebook for later, but then you run into that situation of, well, I really want to ride these rides in Hollywood Studios, but they're booked out because they're such like sought out after rides like Slinky Dog. So it's just, like what is your priority? What do you want to do? And I guess how much money do you want to spend on it? So just something to think about as you're planning for your trip. But for one person, for 3 days, it was $141.67. And like I said, I'll put up on the screen so you can see like what we had. So we basically had 2 Guardians individual lightning lanes plus Tron. So 3 single pass in total. And then we had the multi-pass for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And it was basically, one was Animal Kingdom, which was like $17. Studios was really expensive, being $37. And then Epcot was $21. And then I don't think I have the price for the like single pass, but it's typically anywhere from like $17 to like $22 usually for like Guardians and Tron. I never really get like Flight of Passage. I'll usually just like rope drop that. Rides, I usually do the single rider line for that. But if it's your first time, like if you do the single rider line, it cuts out a lot of the experience. But because I've done it so many times, that's like how I can save money in that. But if you've never done it, or you've only done it a few times, either waiting, rope dropping, or getting the lightning lane, I think is beneficial. Mine Train is usually like $13 to like $15. It's usually not as expensive as the others. And then there are some like other ones, but I can't think of what they are. So that is a little bit on the lightning lanes. Now moving into the food, snacks, coffee, and drink. I have this basically being 2 different categories within the same category. So I basically did food, which I considered as meals. And then I have another category where I did snacks, sweets, and coffee, which I did as a separate category. So meals, I spent $200 and $229.81 in meals. And then in snacks and sweets and coffee, it was $60.76. So for this, I kind of did like, if it was like, we were there during Flower and Garden, so if it was like a Flower and Garden snack, like I included that in the snacks and sweets and drinks and coffee. And then if it was like a sit-down meal, I included that in the meal price. So we ate at Tusker House one day. We ate at Riverside. Boat Rights is the restaurant there. I feel like we ate at another like sit-down restaurant, but I can't remember now. We did some quick service as well. So we kind of had like a little bit of everything in our trip. And another like annual pass perk was that they were running for the summer was they were offering a really awesome summer discount Monday through Thursday, 40% off at select restaurants. And one of those was Tusker House in Animal Kingdom, and another one of those was Boat Rights at Riverside. So our meal was 40% off, which was why we picked those. But I also like love Tusker House. It was really good. I would pay full price. And it's a character dining and in a park. And Boat Rides I have loved for forever. It's one of my favorite like hidden gems. I'm also like very biased to Riverside because in 2022 to 2023 I did my Disney college program and I worked at Port Orleans, and I actually worked at French Quarter and Riverside. So those are just literally my favorite place on property. Okay, so the next category is travel, and I'm so lucky to be able to live within driving distance of Walt Disney World. So I do not have to fly to Orlando, which is a huge money saver in general, just being able to drive and not fly. However, I did include a little bit of my travel costs, which really just includes gas, and it's kind of hard to calculate like wear and tear on your car, but just wear and tear on your car is another factor of like driving down. One thing I will note is that what I love about Disney is that, especially from like the driving down there perspective, is they don't charge you to park on property. Last year we went to Universal and they charged to park at the hotel on property, and it was a Universal hotel. It was like one of their newer ones. So that was something that I like had always taken for granted at Disney, but then when we got charged at Universal, I was like, OMG, like this is why Disney is superior. But yes, just a funny thing to know, but a great perk, because usually parking can be anywhere from like $25 to like $45, just depending on where you are. So the fact that they don't charge you to park at the resorts, plus the transportation is free if you stay on property, that's a huge like cost that you don't have to think about. So the only cost that I have in my travel category is gas. So I had to fill up twice, and it was $81.13. And the last category is merchandise. So as an annual pass holder, I do get 20% off merchandise. So my total that I spent on merch was $193.33. So I actually ended up returning something, a jacket that I didn't really like. So I ended up getting like a $45 merchandise credit. So if you include that, I would have spent $238.88 on merch. But girl math, because I had already spent that a few months ago, it doesn't count. So my total for merch is $193.33. And I love pins, so a lot of my merch cost comes from that. I recently, on this trip, I ended up buying like 2 to 3 t-shirts, and 2 of them were for me and 1 of them was for my mom. So we ended up matching, and they were just like a cute little Tinkerbell one. I'll insert a picture because I really liked them. They were cute. So on our last trip, we got to match, and it was really fun. And what else did I buy? I bought some other pins. I have them right here to show because they are just so cute. And I love puzzles. And so I ended up getting this puzzle. And I really like it because it has so many of the characters. Like literally every character you could think of, I feel like is on this. Like even the like Hatbox Ghost, I think is like right there. And I love that in the Haunted Mansion. So I love puzzles, so I was like, I have to have this. Like, it literally has everybody on it. Literally, it's insane. And I like it because it's the castle and it's like 50th colors, which, you know, it's no longer painted that way. So I thought it was just such a good puzzle, and I love puzzles, so had to have it. And I ended up getting, I got a couple like mystery pin packs, and then I ended up buying some rack pins, which are these ones. So like I said, we were there during Flower and Garden. So since I was a pass holder at the time, or I still am, I got the pass holder pin. This is my first year being a pass holder to Disney World. And then I got this Animal Kingdom pin because I thought it was really cool and fun. And I'm trying to like collect more pins that are like park related and have the like parks listed on there, you know? I did end up getting a couple of mystery boxes. I can never resist a mystery pin box. I do like to pin trade. I'm not like crazy into it. I just think it's like a fun, another element to add to the vacation or to your time at Disney World. Okay, so I'm going to include two different categories here. Basically, one total is going to be the total with the annual pass, and then what the total is without the annual pass, which the only thing that's really going to affect is the hotel and the tickets. As an annual pass holder, you do get discounts on dining and merchandise, but it's hard to like break those apart and know like the difference and what the cost would have been without the pass, or yeah, without the pass and then with the pass. Does that make sense? Okay. So, all right. So hotel for, with the pass was $313.04. And then without the pass, and this is a summer discount that anybody could have grabbed, it was $434.14. Then we had the lightning lanes, which was $141.67. Then we had merchandise, which was $193.33. Then we had travel, which was just gas, was $81.13. Then we had snacks, which came out to $60.76. And then food and meals, which is basically just meals, was $229.81. Then over here on the total without the annual pass, the tickets would have cost $635.47 for 3-day park hoppers. So the grand total with the annual pass came out to $1,019.73, and the total without the annual pass came out to $1,776.30. And that's pretty funny that it came out to that total because the annual pass cost $1,734.89. So that is the totals for one person, what I spent during the month of May, going down May 27th through the 31st. That is what I spent on my Walt Disney World trip, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I actually have been having fun, crazy enough, tracking like everything that I spend throughout the year. I've been doing it consistently for like a year, and it's been really helping me like just realize what I'm spending on like food, eating out, gas, groceries, like buying, like shopping related things. It just helps to like really visualize where all my money is going, and it's been really helpful. And I literally don't do anything fancy. I just use Google Docs or Google Sheets to like calculate everything. And then once you have like a good template, you can just like copy and paste and just keep the totals running. So it was kind of easy for me to be able to like track everything because I already track everything, thankfully. So I enjoyed being able to see kind of what I spent on this trip and how it compares to like other trips. But sometimes it's hard to keep track of everything. Like, sometimes it can be hard to just keep track of everything. So anyways, I've yapped long enough. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you made it all the way to the end, like I said, my name is Gracie. I am 26 years old. I live with my husband and our sweet little mini Dotson Winston in Georgia. And I work a 9-to-5 in local government and communications and marketing. And I just love being able to like document life and share these memories, and just being able to like find the magic magic in every day. I obviously am a big Disney girl, and I have been since I can remember. And yeah, I just love being able to have these vlogs and just kind of like another fun creative outlet to document memories. So I love to scrapbook, and I love to make bracelets and bag charms and buttons and all the things, literally anything creative. I love puzzles and concerts and just hanging out with my family and friends. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. But like I said, I've yapped long enough. I hope you will like this video and subscribe for more fun Disney vlogs to come, because the Disney vlogs never stop, thankfully. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.